Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs took on the Raptors yesterday, and I swear, there are 3 to 5 plays per game where you just have to say to yourself, only Victor can do that. There he is, Victor Wembanyama in action. This is one of those plays. We've seen and 1 threes before, but a guy of his size, his caliber doing that, it just makes you go, oh, yeah, he's special, Roz.
Yeah, he's got crazy range. You got to defend him everywhere on the court.
Takes off, throws it down with 2 hands, barely.
Everybody got out the way.
And take a look at this. First step for the dunk was 6.9 feet long, which is just insane. So the Spurs up here, continuing to build on a big lead all night. Wembanyama was blocking OG.
OG, no! No, OG.
Well, take a look at this one. In the corner, OG goes for 3. No. OG Anunoby was asked about Victor Wembanyama in this play specifically. Here's what he had to say.
We didn't see during the preseason. We didn't see.
I know. He's too tall. He's way too tall.
He's too tall. So let's go to 40 seconds left now in the fourth quarter. The Spurs have been up big in this one. Now it's a 3-point game. Just like that, it is tied thanks to Scottie Barnes' step back 3 there. And then down 2, can't quite get it to go. Victor, you got to secure that rebound. So to overtime we go in this one after things were knotted at 110 in regulation. Taking it to 30 seconds, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in overtime here. Kick it to the corner. That 3 would be good. One more time here. 30 seconds left. Spurs down. Wembanyama shoots from 3. Looks like it's going in, but it rims out. Here is Wembanyama after the blown lead.
Often says it's important to play for whole 48 minutes. And even relaxing a couple seconds is too much.
So Victor Wembanyama, he's learning some things about a 20-point lead not necessarily being what he thinks it is in the NBA. But every game, I mentioned it, we see something where OG said it. It's like, how does he do this?
He's so tall.
How does he do it, Roz?
Well, I think right now what we're seeing from Wemby is a 19-year-old who's shining in a grown man's league. And so far, it mostly has to do with him leaning in on his natural, physical, unique talents and gifts. We haven't even seen Wemby put on wiry veteran strength or get a veteran understanding and savvy for the game. And when he does, that is going to be frightening. But for right now, let's take a look at how Wemby is doing this right now just with his natural ability. So he's up against OG and moving his feet. He stays with him, but OG's got 23 pounds on him. So he tries to use his strength to create space. He does, but that's Wemby recovering because he's 9 inches taller. He's got an 8-foot wingspan. All right, this play on offense, look where Wemby catches the ball, at the logo. And then at 7'4", driving and dribbling through 2 guard defenders is nasty work. He takes off way outside the free throw line, 2 steps to the rim. That's crazy. And Malika, that first block he ended up with 5 in the game. He only had 1 foul. If you look at most of those plays, his arms are so long that his body is far away from the shooter. So it will put him in, and he blocks with both hands too, ambidextrous blocks. So it puts him in a position too where he's going to be unique. He has the potential to be a great shot blocker, but perhaps not foul prone. We'll see.
We will see. Only time will tell. But the impact that he's making already, it is already apparent. We've seen this story before, right? When the Spurs drafted generational talent at number 1 overall, and then 2 of the 3 largest win increases from the NBA a season prior in history have come in Duncan Robinson's rookie season. So Ramona, in year 1, how much do you think has Victor raised the Spurs ceiling here?
I think they're a play-in tournament this year, but it's about what they are in the next 3 years, the next 5 years. Because you look at what Victor does, and he looks like a guy that you can build a championship team around. Like, you already see it, and he's not even good yet, right? Like, he's just doing this at his age. I mean, when she said he's 209 pounds, what? Like, he's just a baby in this league. If you look at him in the next 3 to 5 years, that's the guy that you can have a foundational piece for a championship around. And I think the play-in tournament is not out of the question for this team.
Yeah, absolutely not out of the question. Perk, you graded Victor on NBA Countdown last week. You gave him an F in his rebounding. You were a little bit harsh on him. Yeah. Where do you see this last week him stacking up and raising the Spurs ceiling?
Well, I got them making the play-in tournament, and Victor Wembanyama is so good offensively and defensively. What he brings to the table is that he doesn't have one other superstar, star, or all-star caliber player on his team. And look where they're sitting at right now. Like, his impact on the game is so one-of-one, is ridiculous. But I'm going to go back to what I've been harping on. It's the FGAs for me. It's no way that the Spurs should end the game and Victor doesn't have the most FGAs. He didn't have that last night. But when he did shoot 25 shots, we saw him get that 38-piece wing dinner, all drumsticks with a side of potato salad and fries. We saw that. So my thing is, he has to learn to demand the ball enough. Like, when Shaq was a rookie, Shaq was like, get me the ball. Like, get me the ball. Like, Victor has to do that in order for the Spurs to continue to be successful and continue to grow.
Well, I think what Shaq had was Scott Skiles passing him the ball. There's no great point guard with the Spurs right now. Somebody to make sure that he gets the rock. But Grant Williams told me that he thinks that he will be truly special, talking about Wemby, in 2 years. I think one of the things that you're seeing from teams is like a 6'7" guy like OG Anunoby, 6'4" like Grant Williams. They're picking fruit. Every time Wemby brings the ball down, they're trying to steal the ball from him. And that's what Grant said he had a field day with when they played him, and he was very physical from the lower extremity. And you see OG take that ball away and make a game-tying shot in a game that the Spurs would have won if Wemby had grabbed the ball. But another thing that Grant Williams said is he thinks he should watch some Joel Embiid tape and perhaps work out with Joel Embiid in the offseason. I don't know if Joel let him do that. Ramona would know that better than me, but he thinks that watching that film, working with him, could help take his game to the next level.
Is Joel a workout with other players type of
Joel
player?
would work out with him, but I don't know if Wemby would work out with
Victor
Joel.
has said that. He has said that he is not necessarily the player who he doesn't like. He wants to be friendly with people.
We're opponents.
We're opponents when we step in between those lines, and he does not like to work out with opponents. And to your point, Perk, so far, Victor Wembanyama averaging 15 shot attempts per game.
We're like the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. You know what I mean?
Start slow, finish fast?
No, the Pittsburgh Steelers right now have not outgained or outscored any of their opponents in this season right now, and yet they got a winning record.
All right, so that's one way to sort of compare things.
He
An
loves
analogy
a football
to make.
analogy.
I love an analogy, period. Hall of Famer Mark Spears is with us. I know he loves an analogy as well. Mark, what is your level of concern through the first 2 weeks of this season for LA?
Well, the guy I'm most concerned about, maybe he looks like a young Terry Bradshaw, Austin Reeves. He's come off to a slow start. And remember how great he was in the postseason, and he got to play with USA Basketball. But I think when he came to training camp, the Lakers kind of babied him, gave him a lot of time off to rest from USA Basketball, and I think that set him back more than it helped him. He's not shot well. He shot 39% from the field, 29% from three. He's fourth on the team in scoring, averaging 12.5. And he's also a guy that I hear is really, really hard on himself when he struggles. But perhaps against Orlando, one of the shining spots in a bad loss was that he did get to 20 points. He made 3 3-pointers. He finally had a good game. And perhaps he brings that momentum off to Miami.
Yeah, perhaps he's able to shake off that boogeyman a little bit. Parker, are you worried from what you've seen from LA so far?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'm worried. And look, it's not because of Anthony Davis. He's been playing outstanding basketball on both ends of the floor, and we know what LeBron James brings to the table. But again, this is why 2 weeks ago I was harping on, if I'm the Lakers, I'm really considering trading for James Harden before James Harden was traded to the Clippers. They need a point guard. They need a third star. If you look around the Western Conference and you look at all the contenders, they have 3 stars. The Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray, Jokic, and you could kind of swap out Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. The Golden State Warriors, we know they 3 stars. Hell, the Clippers got 4 stars now. So at the end, Phoenix Suns, 3 stars. So at the end of the day, who is going to be that guy that's going to step up to the plate and be consistent night in and night out? Is that going to be Austin Reeves? Is that going to be D'Angelo Russell? Is that going to be Rui Hachimura? The Lakers don't have that, and they too inconsistent. And if I'm Rob Pelinka, I got to fill that void to take some pressure off LeBron James, especially at that point guard spot, because they have too many unforced turnovers throughout the course of a game.
I'm not as concerned. It's still early. And a lot of the issues that I'm seeing with the Lakers are correctable issues. They're fixable issues. You look at the offensive rebounds that they're giving up. A lot of that has to do with effort, following your rules. They're giving up way too many second chance points. You know, I think a strong couple of practice sessions and film sessions where they lock in on this, you can correct that as a team if you have your schedule gives you enough time for a couple of practices.
Right.
All right, then turnovers. They're having untimely mistakes at the wrong moments, and that can be more film, concentration, mental lapses there. And they're starting off games not well. I mean, they're coming in behind in these first quarters, and that could be about energy and intention. Perhaps it's a lineup change or a rotation change there. But all of this is fixable.
Yep.
I think the battle for the Lakers is a possession battle, and they're giving up way too many extra opportunities at the basket off of second chance points, off of turnovers, and they're not necessarily good enough to have to make up for all of that. You want to control every possession to make it count.
Sure. I mean, I'm a 10-game type of girl. I like to see 10 games before I decide something is a habit. Perk looks like he's ready to say this is a habit already. The only place I'd push back, Roz, is that in the West, there is no time for that. There is so little separation. Perk, go ahead.
What's up, Perk?
Roz, you giving the Lakers more excuses than a brother going to jail. Listen, this is a team that went to the Western Conference Finals last year. It shouldn't be no film session and no motivation how to bring effort and clean up things that they already know. Like, they went through the war together. They brought back this core group. Rui Hachimura know what's expected. Austin Reeves know what's expected out of him. D'Lo know what's expected out of him. Like, Gabe Vincent went to the NBA Finals. This is not a young group. This is a veteran group, and they should know better. Darvin Ham shouldn't have to go in the film preaching to them about effort and little mistakes, unforced turnovers. Like, no, this is not the Pistons or the Orlando Magic, and no disrespect to them.
Well, it seems like they know exactly what they need to do. It starts tonight in Miami.
And Perk, to your point, I did find it a little bit startling that in games against the Kings or against the Magic, the Lakers who have had the more experienced and veteran players have had a hard time holding on to leads or closing out quarters in games when the opportunity is right there. That perhaps is alarming to me, but the mistakes we're seeing, the trends, that's correctable.